Good evening, I'm Alicia Richards.
And I'm Mike Parker, and we're starting things off here in the Weather Center because we may be waking up to some snow in the morning.
Yeah, and the best accumulation that we've been seeing so far are southern tier counties. So Franklin, Adams, a little bit in York, most of it sticking to the grass. We're going to be showing you some locations here. This is just one of them, and getting a few reports here through social media about Waynesboro picking up additional accumulation, but it's not sticking to the parking lot. Higher elevations in South Mountain, it is sticking to the parking lot, but of course that's one of our higher elevations in the mid-state. The blue and gray grill just showing mainly wet roads with some accumulation there in the middle, in some of the grass, and just mainly damp there at the ABC 27 Bureau in Carlisle. You head farther north, Lebanon, not really seeing much at all, and for much of the mid-state here north of Harrisburg, seeing maybe some snow showers and flurries. The area that I'm circling here in red indicating the best chances for yet some accumulation. We didn't really anticipate much. Doesn't look like we're getting much, and doesn't look like it's going to be a big impact here, more of a nuisance here overnight. So perhaps a coating to an inch of snowfall, and that's mainly our southern tier counties, York, Adams, Franklin, and Lancaster counties heading into tomorrow morning, especially during the morning commute, just seeing some stray snow showers and flurries. We're going to have the rest of that forecast coming up, Alicia.
Thanks, Eric. And you can get the latest forecast anywhere, anytime on our website or on our weather app. It's free, and you'll get radar, severe weather alerts, and more. So what a day this has been in presidential politics. A former presidential nominee lashing out at this cycle's frontrunner.
And of course, just wrapping up tonight's Republican debate, Megan Hughes reports.
Fresh from his commanding 7 victories on Super Tuesday, Donald Trump got no respect.
If you're our nominee, excuse me, I think I'm talking.
Trump's rivals now teaming up against him.
Because he doesn't have answers, and he's asking us to make him the president of the United States of America.
Ted Cruz in second place is trying hard to make it a 2-man race.
Donald Trump has written checks to Hillary Clinton not once, not twice, not 3 times. 10 times.
Marco Rubio again assailed Trump's character.
He has spent a career convincing Americans that he's something that he's not.
All the taunting finally got a rise out of Trump.
This little guy has lied so much about my record.
There we go, the person.
He has lied. He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it.
The billionaire real estate mogul also fighting back.
Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud.
Against a scalding attack from the 2012 GOP standard bearer, Mitt Romney.
He was a failed candidate. He should have beaten President Obama very easy. He failed miserably.
This debate was also a rematch between Donald Trump and his nemesis, Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
Nice to be with you, Megyn.
Great to have you here.
You're looking well. You're looking
As
well.
are you.
This weekend, the Republican slate faces voters in 4 states and Puerto Rico.
With the Detroit debate over, Michigan is still a political hotspot. Democrats debate in Flint on Sunday. On Tuesday, the state hosts an important primary for both parties. Megan Hughes, ABC News, Washington.
Smoke and flames engulfing 2 Dauphin County homes tonight, one in Susquehanna Township, the other in Swidera Township.
And one of them was deadly. Our Mark Hull was there for both. He joins us now live. Mark?
Mike and Alicia, quite a night for firefighters in the region. The snowfall began about 40 minutes ago here in Swidera Township. Now, someone called 911 after they saw smoke and flames coming from a home just down the street. You have about 20 fire trucks behind me here on 60th Street. But check out some of these pictures that firefighters, some of the flames that firefighters had to deal with a little bit earlier this evening here at a home on 59th and Acorn. Swidera Township Fire Chief Mike Eberson says that they are in the early stages of the investigation and they don't know the cause of the flame. The home that you see there is suffered major damage. It may even be considered a loss, but Chief Eberson says there is some good news coming out of all this.
At this point, there's no reports of any injuries, and the fire is under investigation. There was residents home, but they got out safely.
We had mentioned earlier that firefighters here in Dauphin County were very busy throughout the evening. We covered a second fire in Susquehanna Township. We have video from that fire as well that took place around just a little after 5 o'clock. Firefighters arrived at this home along the 2300 block of Aspen Way in Susquehanna Township. Fire Chief George Tree says that they were aware that someone was trapped inside, and moments later they found the woman in the home. She was pronounced deceased. Chief Tree says that the woman was the only person who lived in the house. Chief Tree says that the investigation will continue.
The cause is undetermined right now. We'll do additional follow-up, and the coroner's office will be dealing with the cause of death.
Again, no official word on the cause of that fire. Chief Tree said that a firefighter did suffer minor injuries but was taken to the hospital and released. We'll have much more on this story coming up tomorrow morning at 4:30 right here on ABC 27 News. Working for you live from Swadera Township, Mark Hall, ABC 27 News. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you so much. And a deadly house fire in Adams County. The mobile home on Frederick Pike outside Littlestown was engulfed in flames at 3 this morning. A man was killed. We do not know how this started, but this is the third deadly fire in Adams County in less than 2 weeks. And it's a story we broke to you earlier this week. More than 50 complaints about Oak Lawn Cemetery in Adams County. Families are distraught, and now the DA wants to know if crimes are being committed. Dawn White reports.
Piles of dirt still line Oak Lawn Cemetery behind me. We've seen dozens of vehicles driving here throughout the day, checking on the conditions of graves.
Tire tracks and dirt over where loved ones are buried, headstones in disarray. These are some of the things tugging Norma Herring's heartstrings.
This is my grandmother and my grandfather, Henry Clark and Goldie Clark.
Norma's 4 family members are buried at the cemetery.
It's sinful. It's just a travesty. They're not taking care of it. You know, what are the families supposed to do?
Adams County District Attorney Brian Sinnott and the Cumberland Township Police Department have launched an investigation.
If they believe that somebody has defrauded them or a crime has been committed, i.e. they've given money to somebody to perform a service and it's not being performed, they're refusing to perform it, that's something that we may be able to look into criminally.
Ramesh Rao bought the land at a tax sale earlier this year. His lawyer said he purchased the land, not the cemetery, and isn't licensed to operate a cemetery. James Delaney, the previous owner, filed for bankruptcy. Norma's worried her dad and aunt, who bought plots in 1959, won't be able to be buried there.
If this property was bought for the land and not to be operated as a cemetery, what happens to the people that are already there? What's going to happen to them? Are we going to have to move them? If we do, what kind of expense is that going to be? Some of those people out there probably don't have any family left.
We all have loved ones who are buried in cemeteries, and you want to see that it's being maintained in a proper way to show respect for the people who are buried here.
We'll have more information on our website, that's abc27.com, on what you should do if you believe you've been a victim. Working for you in Cumberland Township, I'm Dawn White, ABC 27 News.
New tonight, a sleepy little town in Dauphin County wide awake tonight to security concerns. A series of break-ins lately, in some cases brazen, and prompting a reward for information.
Test, test, test. PSA, take one, take one.
In Millersburg, people are tuned in to local radio.
We are 98.9 WQLV.
Because locally, the DJs are tuned in to trouble.
It's been brought to our attention that several businesses in northern Dauphin have been broken into.
It's pretty obvious someone just kind of came in here and gave it a good kick with their boot right there.
The windows kicked in at the Millersburg Borough offices may be the most dramatic. Damages estimated at about $5,000 alone. But they're not unique. Over the past few weeks, a half dozen or more shops and nonprofits here have been burglarized. Small town charm facing a big problem.
This certainly isn't the first rash we've had, in recent years, but that small town charm is, what certainly does bring people here, but still have to be pretty vigilant.
There are mom and pop businesses that are getting broken into and taken advantage of in these cases. And even though they have insurance, this is something that still sets them back on time for orders and stuff that they don't have the extra resources to handle.
In most cases, police say the burglars aren't interested in merchandise, only taking cash. The DJs writing PSAs about cash on the table for info.
The Millersburg Borough is offering a $250 reward for information on the damage done to the borough building.
Whoever did this is pretty brazen.
People are starting to take security very seriously.
And since the Millersburg Police Department is inside the borough building, as a victim themselves, they're not investigating that one. Anyone with information who's interested in that reward should contact state police.
Continuing coverage now on the man who enrolled in Harrisburg High School and allegedly had a relationship with a 15-year-old girl. Artur Samarin partially blamed his adoptive parents. Well, their lawyer is now telling their side. They say they met Artur in 2012. They were living at the townhouse apartments in Harrisburg and became friends. When Samarin told them he had to find somewhere else to live, they invited him to stay with them and later adopted him, believing he was a teenager. The couple's attorney says last year they contacted authorities after becoming concerned about Artur's behavior.
The time had come when they felt afraid and they wanted to make sure that they did the right thing and went to the authorities.
No word of charges will be filed against Stephanie Potts for allegedly helping Samarin falsify documents. Samarin remains in the Dauphin County Prison.
A disturbing case of alleged child sex abuse at a summer camp. One York County mother says camp leaders failed to protect her son. Police say in 2014, a counselor saw a 12-year-old abuse a special needs camper. No one from Camp Spirit notified police. The following year, that now 13-year-old was allowed to return to the camp. A counselor caught the teen sexually abusing a 5-year-old. Well, the victim's mother says she reported the situation to police. The counselor supervising the campers allegedly did not have a Pennsylvania child abuse clearance. She was under investigation and later charged for hiding her dead infant in a shoebox. The YMCA sent a statement saying there has been an incident reported involving 2 children enrolled in our summer day camp program. And the YMCA immediately reported the situation to Childline and has and will continue to cooperate with the authorities. Now, we called the Department of Human Services to find out how camp regulations work. The department says, for the most part, it does not regulate summer camps. Still to come, an aide to Kathleen Kane gets some jail time for snooping in emails.
Also ahead tonight, the latest Mid-State Community that could be on the path to decriminalizing small amounts of marijuana.
Plus, a PA congressman asking President Obama to reconsider a Red Land visit.